Migs Nograles is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Para makahinga muna tayo ng konti dahil medyo hindi masyadong sinasagot yung mga tanong natin. If it's okay with the committee, if we go through some violations na lang sa prangkisa nila.
Ready to.
I will ask questions and mostly sections 10 and 11,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Please proceed. The Honorable Nograles.
To SMNI, I guess, Attorney Mark Valentino.
Yes, I can answer that.
In 2005, Kingdom of Jesus GIS states that Pastor Kibuloy is the chairman and registered as a non-stock corporation, correct?
I have with me the history of SMNI.
Just asking a yes or no question.
About what, Mr. Chair? Can you please rephrase the question?
In 2005,
Yes or no lang po, ah?
Kingdom of Jesus, in your the GIS states that Pastor Kibuloy is the chairman and the corporation is registered as a non-stock corporation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Then, Mr. Chair, sometime you became a sole corporation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
When did you become a sole corporation?
Okay. In 1990, sorry. We are talking of Suarasug Media Corporation or the Executive Kingdom of Jesus
Executive
Christ.
Kingdom of Jesus Christ, yes.
So
Well, at first, like I said earlier, 2005, it was Kingdom of Jesus, right? And it was a non-stock. And then,
in 2006, we amend
yes,
the Kingdom of Jesus Christ to the Executive Pastor of Kingdom of Jesus Christ by amending Article 1 and converting corporation to corporation sole, Mr. Chair.
so 2006, you became a corporation sole.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And during this time, who is the executive pastor of that corporation sole?
Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, Mr. Chair.
As an executive pastor in this corporation sole, by definition of the corporation code, he administers, manages as the trustee, properties of the corporation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
As the trustee, Pastor Kibuloy had the power to manage the assets of the corporation, meaning he may buy, sell, encumber, lease properties, etc. for the corporation, right?
But still in compliance with
Yes or no,
Yeah,
Mr. Chair?
Attorney, klaro naman po ang ano. It's answer first, yes or no. Then if you would like to explain, you can explain.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but can I explain,
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Yes, of course. But
Maiksi lang po, ah.
there is a procedure, not just the pastor will decide. There is a body in respect to the process of changing or with respect to the decision of the church, Mr. Chair.
So the answer is yes.
Yes,
The
Mr.
answer is
proceed.
yes. Siya pa rin ang
Yes, pa rin ang sagot.
kahit
proceed.
the procedure.
Yes,
siya
please.
pa rin, right?
Please.
Okay. So does he have the power to sell, manage, buy properties for beneficiaries
With respect to what year, Mr. Chair?
with his power as the trustee, as the
In what
executive
year, Mr.
pastor?
Chair? Because the executive pastor was already transferred to Marlon Acobo, Mr. Chair, in 2020. That's why I'm asking, what year, Mr. Chair?
Before the transfer na lang. Sige.
Before the transfer, yes, Mr. Chair.
So you're saying Pastor Kibuloy, before that transfer, has control over the interest, over the properties of the corporation, thus controlling interest, right?
He is the trustee, Mr. Chair. So subject to
So may
the
controlling
procedure, Mr.
interest
Chair.
po ba, Mr. Chair, dahil siya yung nagmamanage at lahat?
Klaro lang po natin yung sagot. Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chair. With respect to the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Yes, okay. So you mentioned that there was a transfer of the executive pastor.
Yes, in 2020, Mr. Chair.
2020?
Yes.
Are you sure?
In the year 2020.
May amended,
Yes, there's an
Articles
amendment.
kayo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
2020 ba yung nakasulat dyan or 2022? Ang amended AOI nyo.
Document.
It says, I also have the document and
Migs,
the committee has the document.
Cong Migs, can you please ascertain the date? 20 or is it really 2020?
2022.
I think the committee has the AOI, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
of
okay.
the amended AOI.
Can you please reply? Attorney,
May I do the question, Mr. Chair?
is it 20 or 2022?
2022 applied but approved in 2023.
If
2020.
you have a copy of,
Can you please repeat?
you have
Approved,
Mr. Chair,
applied in 2022, approved in 2023.
So hindi 2020. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Go ahead.
so, Mr. Chair, if I can just direct to the committee na lang, if you have the copy. Yes, can you please read na lang, if he can read, Mr. Chair, the amended articles of incorporation on when the date it was adopted
Who are you directing this to? Comsec?
to,
Attorney?
I have with me here, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
yes. Can you please, Mr. Chair,
adopted on December 19, 2022.
so 2022. Okay. And attached there is a transfer, a certificate of appointment.
Yes, Mr.
That's
Chair.
that's the basis, Mr. Chair, for the transfer of the new trustee.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So
December 19, 2022. Signed by Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, appointing Brother Marlon B. Acobo.
So now it's Brother Marlon Ocobo who has the same powers previously of Pastor Kibuloy of
Yes,
the
by
controlling
succession.
interest.
Yes, by succession, Mr. Chair.
Let me direct you to Section 10 of your franchise. The grantee shall not sell, lease, transfer, grant the usufruct of, nor assign this franchise or the rights and privileges acquired thereunder to any person, firm, company, corporation, or other commercial or legal entity, nor merge with any other corporation or entity, nor shall transfer the controlling interest of the grantee simultaneously or contemporaneously to any other person, firm, company, corporation, or entity without the prior approval of the Congress of the Philippines. Are you aware of this provision?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Did you get the prior approval of Congress for this shift of controlling interest in 2022? Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed to answer that?
Okay, tag team, the Honorable Rolex.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Section 10 give us 3 instances. The first one is not sell, not lease, not transfer, not grant the usufruct of, nor assign this franchise. That's the first instance. Second instance is nor merge. Third instance is
Not transfer controlling interest.
not transfer the
without
controlling
prior.
interest.
Yes.
That's
And
the
that-
third instance.
Yes.
Okay, and all of this require the prior approval of Congress.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes, my
so
question, Mr. Chair,
So
is,
that has been cited. Question,
So,
was it done?
my question is,
Mr.
was
Chair,
was the
so the
prior
question.
approval?
Would you want to answer that, Attorney Rolex?
yes, Mr. Chairman.
Was
It's a
there
yes
a
or
prior
no. It's
approval?
a yes or no question,
We have not
Mr. Chair.
sold the franchise.
I'm sorry?
It's a yes or no question if you
No,
got the
there is-
prior
May I ask the lady to
approval.
repeat the question?
No, attorney. The question was there, did you seek prior approval before you did all of this?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
there are 3 instances here.
That's why.
So,
We have not sold
sige,
the franchise.
Mr. Chair,
No,
para
no, no,
lang-
no. That's it.
That's the first instance, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Wait. Attorney Rolex. Laruin nun natin. Meron hong 3 instances. Each are independent of each other. Question. There was a change in controlling interest, which also requires you to seek the approval of Congress. for
prior
IO.
to the change.
Did you do it? Yes or no?
Mr. Chairman,
No,
Mr. Chair, can I answer?
Mr. Chair,
Mr.
yes or no?
Direct. Attorney Tolentino, binigay niyo Attorney Supreme Court, kukunin niyo ulit. Hindi niyo nga masagot kanina eh.
I can answer that, Mr. Chair.
okay, I give
Yes
way
or
to my
no?
colleague, Mr.
By
Chairman.
yes or no, attorney?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
There was no
Mr. Chair.
there is no transfer of controlling
Point of order,
interest,
Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Kasi
Mr. Chair.
confused na ako eh.
Um,
Hindi ko alam kung sino ang lead counsel sa kanilang dalawa. May no? Para alam natin kung sino talaga ang
senior,
dapat
Mr. Chair.
sumagot.
He's the senior lawyer.
Okay.
Oh,
And there's a junior lawyer.
Mr.
Okay.
I give way to my colleague.
Okay.
Point of information.
Okay. The Honorable Dan Fernandez.
I think the question right now is whether
There was a prior
there
approval.
was a prior approval.
Yes.
Siguro kung ayaw po nilang sagutin, alam naman po natin sa Kongreso if they gotten a
Okay.
prior approval. We
So-
can ask we can ask the committee on
yeah.
COMSEC for us to be clarified on this matter. Dahil basically, alam po natin kung nag-secure po sila ng tinatawag nilang specific mode of reporting. Kasi basically, iba tong reporting na dapat nilang gawin.
Salamat, Congressman Dan. Binibigyan po natin ang chance sila dahil ang question ho na rinaise ni Cong Migs is sa dalawa. Okay, Attorney Tolentino, ipinasa kay Attorney Rolex, yung pinapasa ulit kay Attorney Tolentino.
Okay.
Okay?
The provision under the law, Mr. Chair, Section 10 of the franchise says, nor shall transfer the controlling interest of the grantee. In this case, Mr. Chair, there was no transfer of the controlling interest because the owner is still the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
The Honorable
Did,
Migs Nograles.
Mr. Chair, didn't he explain earlier that there was first it was Pastor Kibuloy who had the controlling interest. Then there was a change in
It
2022.
was by succession, Mr. Chair, because Pastor Kibolo technically retires. He's already 73 years old.
And I'm not asking about his
you don't
retiring,
need-
Mr. Chair. It's the transfer of the controlling interest.
Alam po ba kayo hindi? Yun lang sa tatanong ni Cong Migs eh.
Mr. Chair, kung hindi na
paano
lang
ba
nila
kayo kung hindi?
sasagutin, si Comsec na lang po.
Kasi the COMSEC will answer,
Hindi.
Mr. Chair.
Per our records, COMSEC, since hindi ho masagot nung Atty. Tolentino, hindi ho masagot ng lead ko. Atty. Rolex,
No,
bibigyan
Mr.
ka ng last
Chairman.
chance.
We have submitted our annual reports to Congress, and
Okay.
it's contained there.
Did you
Chair.
ask for prior approval?
Prior approval,
No,
Mr. Chairman, it's
it's a-
information.
Mr. Chair,
Please read the second sentence, Mr. Chairman, after that.
Mr.
Second
Chair,
sentence says,
Mr. Chair.
Attorney,
Congress shall be informed.
so ano pong sagot nyo? Yes, nagpaalam kayo.
We informed Congress.
But did you ask permission?
No, we did not. We
Mr.
you.
Chairman,
That's
point of
clear.
clarification.
Thank you very much. Okay, inform Congress.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As far as the committee secretariat record is concerned, there was no they did not seek for a prior approval of any transfer of their franchise.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair,
Along
it's our position that what we're talking here is not controlling interest, unless we have a definition of what controlling interest is. By long line of cases, controlling interest is more than 50%.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Nograles still has the
Thank you,
floor.
Mr. Chair.
Silence is requested.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, may I remind this committee that I think we heard that Attorney Mark Tolentino said that Pastor Kibuloy had controlling interest and was transferred in 2022 to Brother Marlon Acobo. And again, if we look at Section 10, on the first sentence, it
Ah.
still needs the prior approval. Yung sinasabi po earlier na may information, second sentence, hindi pa po tayo nasa second sentence, nasa first sentence pa lang ako, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Floor, the Honorable
Yes.
Nograles.
So we've
Silence
established
requested.
that
Patapusin po
wala
natin si Congressman.
pong prior approval, Mr.
Wala.
Chair.
Sinabi ko.
Okay. So the next sentence naman sa Section 10
can I make
is
any comment, Mr.
No,
Chair?
you're not allowed. Please
Mr.
make the again.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Chair,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, may I remind Atty. Tolentino, nakita mo ba kami, tahimik kami nakikinig dito? Di po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Makinig ka rin muna bago ka mag-raise ng hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the Honorable Akop. The Honorable Nograles.
So now let's go to the second sentence in which Attorney Suplico was saying that you informed. Did you inform of this change? Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Pinagsasalta na po kayo.
I'd like to explain, Mr. Chair. The kingdom of Jesus Christ is not just an ordinary
No,
corporation.
no. Can you please, alam po ninyo, can you just please explain muna, yes or no, then explain your position?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What? Yes, what? To what?
That there is no prior approval. But-
Yes,
but
my
we
next
informed,
question, Mr. Chair, tapos na po
What's your
tayo
question?
dyan.
No,
My
there's a
question
new
was,
question.
the second sentence naman that they should report a change also in controlling interest. It's in the second sentence of Section 10.
Okay, the Honorable, Mr. Atty. Tolentino, yan, pinagsasalta na po kayo.
Mr. Chair,
Natanong, nag-report po kayo.
the
Yes or
good,
no lang po, Mr. Chair.
the good congresswoman says, Mr. Chair, about controlling interests. That's why it may be allowed to explain to the honorable committee, Mr. Chair, what is the controlling interest in relation to corporation sole? Because it is different to say controlling interest with respect to an ordinary corporation compared to a corporation sole, Mr. Chair.
So, can you just reply first, yes or no to the question? First, tapos saka ho niya kayo magpaliwanag kung anong kaibahan ng dalawang yan. The question raised by the Honorable Nograles, did you report
Yes,
the
Mr. Chair.
change? To whom?
We do it annual
May we ask
reporting
the
to
COMSEC
the,
if there's a report,
COMSEC, did they report it?
any change in the controlling interest?
Did they, is there any change in the controlling interest?
Mr. Chair, if we could ask COMSEC kung meron.
Yes.
So as far as the records of the committee secretariat is concerned, there was no reporting as to the change of ownership.
And might I just remind again, narinig po naman natin lahat sa committee, di ba? Sinabi naman po ni Attorney Mark na Pastor did have the control over the assets na pinasat. Wala silang prior approval, which is a violation of the first sentence of Section 10, and wala ring report. So it's a violation of the second sentence also of Section 10. Correct, Mr. Chair.
Well, as for the COMSEC, yes, you're correct.
Okay.
Okay,
With all due respect, Mr. Chair, can I explain my answer, Mr.
but,
Chair?
you know, can we go with the line
May
of questioning?
I finish my question?
Please explain.
Mr.
Later.
Chair, point of order.
Yes.
Can we please remind the good Attorney Mark I think the chair has been very lenient, and I think Congressman Acop has called your attention many times. Your light has been on throughout the whole hearing. So please give enough courtesy to the congressmen
Yes, Mr. Chair.
to give their statements, and huwag kayong mag-alala. Bibigyan namin kayo ng pagkakataon, but please wag kayong babatin habang nagsasalita at habang kinikilala yung oras ng isang kinatawan. May panahon din naman kayo at nakita nyo naman. Siguro kung bibilangin natin sa ratio at proportion, mas marami pa kayong oras
Sabi.
sa pagsasalita kaysa sa mga congressman. Kaya huwag kayong mag-alala. Magsasalita din kayo. Pagsalita nyo na muna yung mga congressman.
Yes.
Can we,
Let's apologize, Mr. Chair.
the Honorable Nograles has the floor. Please do not cut in or you just have to answer the question and we'll leave it at that for the moment. If you would like to explain later, then we will give you the chance before we end this hearing. The Honorable Nograles has the floor. Silence is requested.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have, if I can show to the committee, a pie chart of the structure of
Do you have
Um,
it, video?
Suarasog.
Here.
Yes.
Okay. So please, there's a video.
Yan po ba yun? (2023), please. The next, yes. So it's here in this pie chart, you can see in the GIS of Suarasog that Executive Kingdom of Jesus has about 53%, which shows the majority of or control of Suarasog, correct? Mr. Chair.
Address to Atty. Tolentino. Ayan. Nagsasalita na po kayo. Do you confirm this?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So, dahil kanina, gusto mag-explain kasi ng controlling interest on corporation sole. Sige. Now I'm showing you, di ba? Even if you're going to say na yung iba ang corporation sole, this controlling interest of executive KOG is obviously has the controlling interest at nagkaroon ng switching internally. And did you still get the prior approval? And did you report it to Congress, Mr. Chair?
Atty. Tolentino.
Mr. Chair,
Yes or no?
there is no provision in the franchise that requires reporting for the change of leadership in the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Mr. Chair,
Ah,
controlling interest po
alam
tayo,
nyo,
diba?
Attorney, hindi na natin pinag-usapan ng liderato. Tinanong natin pie chart. Do you confirm this? Na nagkaroon ho ng pagbabago?
With respect to the leadership, Mr. Chair, but not the controlling interest.
I think the committee
Yes.
has heard that
Yes.
we were talking about controlling interest and it was established earlier and the good attorney has
Kinonfirm naman yan.
confirmed. Okay.
We can sustain
Let's
that.
not change words here, ha? Don't put words into our mouths, please. So if you look at the chart, there is this Phoebus Holdings that holds 46%.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko makita.
Malayo kasi. Ayan, yung naka-orange po.
Pwede pa.
40. Yan. Okay. So this Phoebus Holdings, are you aware of who owns Phoebus Holdings, Mr. Chair?
Phoebus Holding,
Atty. Tolentino.
Mr. Chair, is an investor of Suarasug Corporation, Mr. Chair. I have no personal knowledge, Mr. Chair. All I
You
know
have no
is
personal knowledge?
it is an investor of Suarasug Corporation, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Sige. Because he has no knowledge, even if he's the legal counsel. Can we share the next slide, please, that shows the structure of Phoebus from the GIS, which is a public document. So 2022, 2023, can you see the percentage of the Executive Pastor Kingdom of Jesus' ownership on Phoebus?
Tama yun, tama yun.
It says 97.16%. Correct.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So let me read to you the Constitution naman po. On Article 16, Section 11 of the 1987 Constitution, which says, Congress shall regulate or prohibit monopolies in commercial mass media when public interest so requires. No combinations in restraint of trade or unfair competition shall be allowed. So let's go back to the pie chart, please, of the executive of Suarasug on 2022.
2022.
So makikita po natin, Mr. Chair, that the executive pastor, the Kingdom of Jesus, where in 2022, the executive pastor was still the trustee and the one who has the controlling interest, right? Before the amendment, owns 53.46% of Suara Soap, correct?
53.46%. Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Chair.
And Phoebus Holdings
46.22%.
and executive pastor Kingdom of Jesus owns 97% of Phoebus Holdings, correct? So essentially, with the two entities under Pastor Kibuloy, he holds 99.68%, basically making it a monopoly, correct?
I cannot answer that, Mr. Chair.
You cannot, Mr. Chair, abogado po ang kausap natin, Mr. Chair.
Kayo po, kanina, marami ko yung siya site na yun, hindi nyo na alam.
I know, Mr. Chair,
Ano po
but
sagot nyo?
I cannot see
So
that
it's-
slide, Mr. Chair. It's too far.
Okay, let's just go numbers na lang, Mr. Chair. So you said earlier 53.46% ang executive pastor Kingdom of Jesus in 2022 when Pastor Kibuloy was still the executive pastor, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And Phoebus Holdings owns how much, ilang percent, Mr. Chair?
46.22%.
Suara Soap, yes. And as we showed earlier, executive pastor Kingdom of Jesus owns 97% of Phoebus Holdings, correct?
I have no documents with me, Mr. Chair, with respect to Phoebus, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, GIS is a public document. That's why I was able to show the pie chart. So the GIS will show that for the information of the good attorney. So
Yes, Mr.
essentially, with the numbers, if you add it, again, I will go essentially, Pastor Kibuloy in 2022 holds 99.68% of the two combining the two entities, correct?
Not, Mr. Chair, because the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ has a separate juridical personality than that of Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I was saying 2022, which you said earlier, si Pastor Kibuloy ang executive pastor pa nun, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And
He's the
sole
leader of the
corporation
executive-
sole siya.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And Phoebus nga, 97% is owned by the executive pastor, Kingdom of Jesus. Correct? So, essentially, 99.68% ang ownership na to. And citing the Constitution again, pagdating sa commercial mass media, bawal po ang mga monopolies or combinations of such because it's for unfair competition. Are you aware of this?
Yes, Mr.
provision,
Chair.
Mr. Chair?
But as what I said, Mr. Chair, the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ
Yes or no lang naman
has a
po.
separate and personality than that of Pastor Kibuloy, Mr. Chair.
Pwede Tolentino, marami pa ako kasi magtatanong nun. Pwede na po muna yes or no bago kayo magpaliwanag kasi hindi nyo natutumbok eh. Pwede bang yes or no muna tayo tsaka kayo magpaliwanag?
Yes, Mr.
Kasi wala akong mangyayari, mas magpaliwanag kayo, hindi namin nakukuha yung sagot eh.
Okay, Mr.
Yes
Chair.
or no?
So
muna.
essentially, Mr. Chair, with this constitutional provision and the numbers mentioned earlier na at bawal din ng monopolies, violative sila not only of kanina, we established Section 10, but the highest law of the land, which is the Constitution. Correct, Mr. Chair?
Attorney,
Yes,
yes or
Mr.
no?
Chair.
So,
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
What is your reply?
yes daw.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I just have a request? Due to the enlightening revelations of Congresswoman Migs, pwede ba natin ibalik na yung ilaw?
Yes.
Meron pa po kasi akong papakita.
Okay. Ano pa?
Yes, just a short.
Okay.
Sige,
Proceed.
I'm almost done. Don't worry.
mamaya na yung let there be light.
Unless you want to see.
By the way, Mr. Chair, Attorney Migs is my co-host before Pinoy Legal Time.
Yes.
Sa
Okay,
seminar.
very
And he
good.
was also not giving me time to talk during that time.
For almost 6 months, Mr. Chair.
So it's
And he's doing it the same. And he's doing it again. Okay, so now let's go back to your franchise, diba? You have Section 11 now, which states that the grantee shall offer to Filipino citizens at least 30% of its outstanding stock or a higher percentage thereof that may hereafter be provided by law, etc., etc. So dapat may 30% offer to Filipino citizens, to the public, correct,
Yes,
Chair?
Mr. Chair.
And we've already established that Suarez Soap essentially is a monopoly owned na 99.68%. Correct. So malayo to sa 30% na mandato to offer to the public under Section 11, Mr. Chair. Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, but I have a letter
Yes
here.
or no lang?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So yes, there is a violation.
There's no violation, Mr. Chair.
Kanina tinanong ko yung 30%. Mag-add nga po tayo, 99.
That's why,
Di ba
Mr.
hanggang
Chair,
100 po tayo, Mr. Chair? Tapos 30%, 130%. Hindi, 99.68% nga ang monopolized na nga ng Executive Kingdom. Meron sila under Section 11 na mandato na 30% of their stock should be offered to the public. Has this been complied with?
yes, Mr. Chair. We have here, Mr. Chair, a letter dated June 30, 2022 to SEC and to the House of Representatives, Mr. Chair, informing the House, Mr. Chair, about 30% share offered to a cooperative, Mr. Chair.
May we have a copy of that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yan ba
Okay.
yung in-offer niyo sa
dated
cooperative?
June 30, 2022, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Can you,
Sige, with math na lang, Mr. Chair. Di ba kanina, establish po natin 99.68 nga. So malamang hindi pasok ang 30%. Pero with that argument, sige, let's go to the pie chart with the cooperative na sinabi po. Which cooperative is this, Mr. Chair?
Kooperatiba? Attorney, anong pangalan ng kooperatiba?
the name, ano pa nun? Jesus Christ Workers Members Cooperative, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very
Can
much.
we show lang yung sa Suarezog? I think second slide, yes. You will see that 0.16% ang Jesus Christ Cooperative. It's not even 1%. And I think 1% is different from 30%. Correct, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, we are waiting for the response of the House, Mr. Chair, of that letter.
So may obligasyon pala. Kayo po yung may obligasyon, Mr. Chair.
po.
Sino po yung may obligasyon mag-report sa atin? Bakit po tayo ang magre-report?
We are informing the House, Mr. Chair, about the cooperative that we transferred certain share to the cooperative, Mr. Chair, the Jesus Christ Workers Members Cooperative, Mr. Chair.
Yes, so that is the only cooperative which
Of your annual report.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What reply are you expecting from the committee or from Congress? You mentioned that you are requiring, that's why you have not complied with, because you are requiring for a response, when this was just part of your annual report.
May I be
You
allowed to speak?
attached it, one of your attachments. Yes, the Honorable,
No, Mr. Chairman, Attorney Suplico. Attorney Suplico.
I'm sorry, yes, Attorney Suplico, of course, who doesn't know you? Elementary nga ako, nababasa na kita.
Mr.
Right.
Chair, we have a letter and we made a study of other franchises with different provisions. Some of them refer to cooperatives. So we are asking Congress, and in particular the Committee on Legislative Franchises, if this will comply with that particular provision before we go ahead and implement it.
okay. Mr. Chair. Yes, is this the 2023 report that you sent on the basis of your encouraging public participation?
Mr. Chair, we compared the same provisions which are differently worded in other franchises.
Okay.
So we thought we're going to ask Congress, and in particular this committee, if we can be given a go-ahead.
Mr. Chair, I believe we have a copy of that.
I'm reading this letter that you claim you submitted. It's entitled Report on the Dispersal of Ownership, which is part of the annual information sheet that you gave. There is no question. You were just stating a position. There was no question, Attorney Suplico. Unless tatlo ho kami nagbabasa nito. There are
There's
two
no
lawyers.
reply to answer.
And there was no question. You just stated your position of what you were going to do.
Yes.
But or what you were planning to do. But like the telecast where you claimed that you were asking a question but there's nobody answering. There's no chance to answer. Ito ganda rin ho yan kasi wala naman ho kayo tinatanong eh. Wala namang question mark, wala namang kayo maybe respectfully request for your opinion. Wala pong ganyan. You just stated the position. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Klaro po tayo ha. Thank you po.
Yes.
Thank you, the Honorable Nograles. Please proceed.
Okay. So I think that says 2023 report. So report nga, diba? And they, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chair, since you have a copy and I'm sure they know because they reported it. They were basing, and Attorney Tolentino said that they were basing it from other franchises. That's why naglagay sila ng cooperative. Correct.
Yes, Mr. Chair. That's based on our body of the
Yes.
letter.
Okay. And does the franchise, this RA 11422, have any wording of this establishments of cooperatives and other methods of encouraging public participation, Mr. Chair.
None, Mr. Chair. None, Mr. Chair. Ye-
Okay.
None.
So, violation na rin po yun kasi naglagay sila ng cooperatives na hindi naman nasa prangkisa po nila, Mr. Chair. So, earlier, there's a violation of the Constitution that we've established, monopolized. Hindi pa nila na gawa yung 30% public offering, which is a violation of their section 11. And even if you will say may cooperative dyan, it's only 0.16%, which is far from the 30% mandate under section 11 in the franchise, which is a violation also, Mr. Chair, correct?
Anything else, Honorable Nograles?
Yes, I would just like to add also, even if you will state your equality clause with, when I read your report, the 2023, you still need the prior approval of Congress. Kung sa-cite nyo rin yung different franchise na pwedeng kooperatiba. But you also stated there in your 2023 report, you already completed the implementation of program of the dispersal of ownership. Meaning you still did not acquire the prior approval of Congress, correct? Mr. Chair.
Is that a question? Addressed to
Whoever. the
Attorney Tolentino
counsel
or
is.
Senior lawyer.
Attorney Rolex?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, if I may. With due respect to the lady, we did not acquire because we feel that what was transferred is not controlling interest.
I'm sorry, we're talking about the report already on your cooperative. We're done with the controlling interest, I believe so.
We're talking of the cooperatives po.
The
Okay.
2023 report that you sent with the basis of why you're including cooperatives and on your dispersal on section 11 to comply with section 11. May section 14 din po kasi sa prangkisa nyo that if you're going to say, no, na because your basis was may mga ibang mga prangkisa na pinapayagan ng cooperatives at kung ilalagay mo naman na may equality clause kayo sa section 14, kailangan nyo pa rin ng prior approval from Congress. Eh naglagay nga kayo ng kooperatiba na hindi nakalagay sa prangkisa nyo, hindi pa rin kayo nag-acquire ng prior approval. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair? Yes or no?
May I be allowed to explain?
No.
No, Mr. Chairman. Because we wanted to know, Mr. Chairman, it's the position of my client that we wanted to know whether we can also avail of cooperatives. That provision is not found in our franchise, but it's found in the franchises of other entities.
Yes,
So-
and Mr. Chair, I think we established they did not ask us any question anyway. They
Mm.
just reported.
Correct.
And might I direct you to that? If you read the report, you already said, you already completed the implementation of the program of the dispersal of ownership. Na naglagay kayo ng cooperative. So, na wala na nga dun sa prangkisa nyo, nag-implement na kayo, no? Kayo, na wala rin approval ng Congress. Correct? Mr. Chair.
Attorney, yes, obviously. Attorney Rolex, ano po masabi
Mr. Chairman,
niyo?
reading the equality clause on section 14,
Yun nga po, kaya nga inunahan ko na po kasi alam ko ang lalagay na niya yung section 14. Kailangan pa rin po ng prior approval.
that is why we wrote a letter to this House,
That
Mr.
was,
Chairman.
Mr. Chair, what,
You
Mr.
know,
Chair,
the-
may
Well,
I
no,
ask?
Attorney, yes, you did. You wrote us you were a report. You were stating you were informing us, you were not asking us any question that that needed a reply from the committee. So you know, if you keep on going back to that, very clear naman po, Attorney, and you acknowledged that earlier, no? Ito'y ini-inform nyo lang kami. At wala naman po kayong katanungan.
Mr. Chair, we acted in good faith, Mr. Chair. We wrote a letter to the House, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Mr.
Again, alam po ninyo, not be hanged on the wall. You have to prove that. And I am of the belief that you keep on citing this letter, and this letter has no question, does not require a reply from us, because if there was at least a question, then we could have at least answered you. But wala ko kayo tinanong. So
Mr.
paano ho kayo, how can you pass it on to the House or to the committee? Wala naman kayo tinatanong.
that letter, Mr. Chair, proves that we have no intention to not to comply all the conditions, requirements in our franchise,
Well,
Mr. Chair.
I think, you
Okay,
know,
Mr. Chair.
you stated the fact. Kasi again, you know, if you go with good faith, I remember the former Solicitor General Frank Chavez when he told me, good faith has to be proven. Thank you very much. The Honorable Nograles.
Okay, Mr. Chair, since sinasabi na lang letter, does the good attorney have a copy of the April 30, 2023 letter, so-called letter, Mr. Chair?
April. June yan. April 22.
April 30.
May I know that letter all about, Mr. Chair?
May
What's that-
dalawa actually.
May I know what letter is that all?
Kayo yung nagsabi letter, may yun
That's June.
letter.
That's June 2022, Mr. Chair.
May April then, whatever it is. Okay, April or June, sure. Let's look at your April 30, 2023. Do you have a copy of that?
This is what I have is June 30, huh?
Yes. Yes. It's a June 2022 letter, Mr. Chair. It's there.
So, hold on.
June 30 po itong hawak po namin, ha? Yung binigay niyo
Mr.
dito.
Chair, ano? The annual report pala. Their,
Yes.
their annual report. Okay, sorry. Do you have a copy of your annual report
Of April.
on April 30, 2023? Which is the basis of what you're saying on the section 14 and the cooperatives whatsoever, on the dispersal of ownership. Meron po bang kopya, Mr. Chair? Or if I have a copy, I
No.
can read.
Meron mo ba kayong i-represent? Sa
I think the good
kasagutan?
Congresswoman has a copy.
Yes,
Mr.
I
Chair.
do have a copy of it.
Okay.
So it says here for hindi ko mapapakita, nasa iPad ko po, but hindi siya letter. It says report on dispersal of ownership.
Yes.
Right.
June
With-
30.
That's the April or June, whatever that is. So yung itong report nila, like I'm saying, dahil bringing up ang section 14 po, di ba? Kailangan pa rin ng prior approval and wala naman pong nakasulat sa prangkisa nila na pwede silang maglagay ng establishment of cooperatives even if you're using another franchise, another law. As attorneys, I believe you know what's excluded. It's not included in the law, right? Mr. Chair. So since explicit, ano po yun? Ang Latin po nun. Ayun. Gen Z po ako, hindi ko na alam po yung mga terms. Joke lang. Yes, I'm sure you.
What has been excluded are not included.
Yes. So,
Yes.
and again, we've established earlier you don't have that cooperatives being able to be part of your dispersal ownership, 30%, whatever. Section 11, correct?
As what I've said, Mr. Chair.
Yes or
No,
no?
Mr. Chair.
And you brought up, Mr. Chair, Attorney Rolex, yes, brought up the equality clause, right? To defend this, kaya niyong ginawa. Correct, Mr. Chair?
Well, we wanted to know whether we can be given a green light to implement the same.
Okay, sige. But kasi we're just gonna keep going around in circles. It says here in the last sentence, currently, a cooperative is already a stockholder of the company, which is an alternative mode of encouraging public ownership as expressly recognized by this honorable Congress in other franchises. Again, gumawa na kayo ng kooperatiba, pinasok nyo na yung sila as a stockholder without prior approval, and ang ginamit nyo ang prangkisa ng ibang mga may franchise, not yours. Correct?
Mr. Chair,
So I
Yes or
confirm,
no?
I'm looking at the records. Yes, the Honorable Rolex.
Attorney Suplico, Your Honor.
Yes, please. What do you have to say? That's the last paragraph.
The good Congresswoman was referring to Section 11. Reading Section 11 of RA 11422, there is no timeline stipulated in the said provision. The mere fact that we have already put in place the mechanism and we are just awaiting a response from this honorable committee, then does that mean that we have violated
Yes.
the law itself?
Mr. Chair,
Thank you very
we're
much.
going around in circles.
Okay, so I think we've discussed that over and over
Yes.
again.
Yes.
And we've already, again, the committee and even the COMSEC maintains that there was no question. You were not soliciting anything. You were just stating a fact. And I think what the Honorable Nograles is saying is it has not been complied with
But we are
in the
willing to,
provisions.
we are
Yes.
willing to comply, Mr. Chair. Although, since there's no timeline, when are we going to comply? We can comply at any time, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, when we grant a franchise to a grantee, aren't they mandated to comply
Yes,
at all the time? Like
Yes.
all the time, immediately,
Yes.
not for us to wait for them or be given time to comply.
Because I
Correct,
think
Mr. Chair?
Tell me is if there's no timeline. So you're trying to tell me now that pwede nyo gawin, tapos tanungin nyo lang later on.
not any time,
Pwede.
not any time,
Eh,
Mr.
kasi wala
Chair.
naman timeline.
Not any time, Mr. Chair. We are willing to comply at any time, as soon as possible,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, let me, Mr. Chair, again, with that argument, babalik tayo. You
So
are
question
willing to
is, why did you
comply.
not do it?
We are willing to do it, Mr. Chair. That's
Why
why,
did you not do it?
because we are waiting for the reply, because under Section 14, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair,
it
bumabalik na
provides
tayo.
here.
Let me simplify it na lang,
Okay
Mr.
po.
Chair.
Sige, salamat po, Atty. Tolentino.
Let me just
Kasi,
simplify
alam mo,
it.
paikot-ikotan po tayo. Obviously, na wala naman kayo tinatanong. All of a sudden, you're willing to comply. Pero pag tinanong sa inyo, bakit hindi kayo comply? Babato nyo naman yung letter na wala naman kayo tinatanong. So, paikot-ikotan po tayo. Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
to end lang, para matapos na yung paikot-ikot kasi sumasakit na rin yung ulo
Oh.
ko. I will repeat the last sentence. Even if you tell this committee that you are willing to comply, hindi na nga kayo nagtanong, ang nakasulat sa last sentence, currently, a cooperative is already a stockholder of the company, which is an alternative mode of encouraging public ownership as expressly recognized by this Honorable Congress in other franchises. So gumawa na kayo, ginawa nyo na. So hindi na rin kailangan ng timeline, di ba, Mr. Chair? Kasi ginawa na rin nila at hindi naman sila willing to comply dahil ginawa naman po na walang approval ng Congress. At ang basehan nila ay ibang prangkisa. Tama po, Mr. Chair. I think I simplified that
Yes,
already.
that's
Tama
very
po.
clear. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
I will
Yes.
end that.
And if you have a second round, we're
Yes,
going
I
to
will.
open for
Yes,
second round.